I ran away from my abusive boyfriend with our 8-year-old son. We moved to London, 4 hours away from our area. In less than 2 months, he found us. During the first week, I was on edge. Then I got comfortable. Too comfortable. To be honest, for the first time in a decade, I didn't have to worry about the kicks, the slaps, the being shouted at. I worked remotely from home, which made it harder for him to track us. But the mistake I made was forgetting that we had a joint account. I used the same card for everything, rent, online shopping, and it led him straight to us. I'll never forget the day I took my son to the park after school, and I had a feeling someone was watching us. I tried to convince myself that I was paranoid, so I brushed it off. When we entered the flat, a massive boot stopped the door from closing. My son shouted, "Daddy! Daddy! Daddy!" in excitement to see him. He let himself in, and he shut the door behind him. The fear I felt made my entire body feel like jelly. While he embraced our son, the look he gave sent shivers down my spine. I knew what was coming. Trust me. The moment he put my son down, I rushed into the room and I tried to lock the door, but he was too strong for me. He pushed his way in and locked the door behind him. He shouted, "Who is he? Where is he?" I said, "There isn't anyone. It's you who keeps hitting me." Then he said, "You haven't seen anything yet." And he was right. He chased me around the room and I had nowhere to go, so I gave up. I thought I might as well get it over with. The beating he gave me put me in hospital for 4 days. I'm talking about kicks, punches, slaps. I wished I had died and gone to heaven or even hell, anywhere away from him. As he unleashed his frustration on me, I could hear my son crying and shouting on the other side of the door, "Leave Mummy alone!" I was screaming, but he told me to shut up, and I had to muffle my cries. It was intense and I felt like I was going to wet myself because that's how scared I was. Over the 10 years we'd been together, the beating had never been this brutal. He threw me across the room and I hit my head on the side of the table. I must have passed out, but I don't know how long for. All I remember is hearing my son crying. I woke up on the floor, soaked in my own urine, with a banging headache and a massive bump on the side of my forehead. My son was sitting next to me, crying and shaking my body frantically. Can you imagine how horrific it must have been for him to see his mother lying on the floor, motionless? I clutched my son in my arms in so much pain, and I thought to myself, what did I do to deserve this? I saw my bags packed and neatly stacked by the door. Then I heard a voice say, "Come on, we're going home." Can you believe that when we got back, he said, "Welcome home"? I thought to myself, you mean welcome back to hell? He came into the bathroom while I was having a shower. My heart leapt. He grabbed me by my hair, tilted my head back, and said, "Try that again, and I'll kill you." In a squeaky, murmuring voice, I said, I won't do it again." As I stepped out of the shower, I felt a warm substance running down my legs. I screamed, "Call the ambulance!" I was bleeding and I was rushed to the emergency room. To my surprise, the doctor confirmed that I was 8 weeks pregnant and I had a miscarriage. She also confirmed that I wouldn't be able to get pregnant again. And when I heard that, my eyes filled with tears. I always wanted another child. Maybe not with him because I planned to leave him. I wasn't sure how yet. They saw the bruises I had, and when they asked me about it, I bravely told them that he had done it to me. He didn't deny it. They called the police and I thought it was my way out. But that was only the beginning. He whispered in my ear and said, "You shouldn't have done that. You'll be sorry." I forgot to mention that my boyfriend was a senior superintendent police officer in our area. so everything was swept under the rug. I spent 4 days in intensive care, planning and scheming a way out of this nightmare of a relationship. When I got back home for the first 2 weeks, he was nice to me, which wasn't a surprise. He can be very nice, but don't get it twisted. He's got all the characteristics of a narcissist. He likes to be in control. He can't admit when he's in the wrong, and he craves praise. The list goes on, and I plan to use it to my advantage, to bait him. Time to put my plan into action. I've never had a voice in the house, but now when he shouts at me, I shout back and I run in the room. He slapped me in the face. I boldly slapped him back and ran into the room. Everything he did to me, I did it back, and I always ran into the room. Every time I gave it back to him, he looked at me with his eyes wide open. I said, yeah, that's right, you arsehole. If you're going to hit someone, prepare to get it back. For the next few months, I put my plan into action, and it worked, just like a clock. He battered me really bad, and I told him I was going to call the police. He gave me the phone and said, call them. And he kindly reminded me that he was their superintendent, and that last time my statement didn't even make the logbook. I was glad he said that. Like I said, everything was going to plan. I told him that I would leave him one day, and he boasted about the last time I tried to leave and the beating I got when he found me. I got what I wanted, straight from the horse's mouth. As a police officer, he wore a body cam, so I went and bought my own body cam. Each time he got home, I removed his body cam from the vest in the door in our room, and I replaced it with mine. I recorded 5 sessions of beatings on it. I can't bear to even watch the footage back on my phone. I sent all of the footage from the body cam and a written statement from the hospital to the Commissioner of Police. He was jailed for 5.5 years and wasn't allowed to come anywhere near me. His department was also under investigation. When he gets out, our son will be in his teens. Reject violence and domestic abuse. Prioritize safety and well-being. Seek support from friends, family, and professionals. You deserve respect, love, and a life without fear. Leave with courage. Can you relate? Please subscribe to this channel for more true life stories. It's free to subscribe.